Your handlebars on your road bike offer a whole host of different positions that you can put your hands when you ride, which is great, but sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. Where should you hold your handlebars when you ride? How you hold your handlebars can have a massive impact on your ride. It can help you go further, faster, and help you get a few less aches and pains too. So in this video, we've put some of our top tips together to help you make the most out of your handlebars. Now, many of us in our cycling lives at some point would have been riding along and felt a bit of numbness or tingling in the hands, achy arms, or even a sore shoulder and back. And you might just think, well, it's just part of cycling, but it really doesn't have to be that way. Simply by just adjusting your hand position or moving your hands around can help you be a lot more comfortable on the bike, but also help you go faster. First of all, you want to make sure that your handlebars and your levers are in the right position for you. Now, there's not a right or wrong answer for this, it is what you feel comfortable with. But here are a few tips that I use myself. You don't want to have too much pressure on your hands, so say if you have your handlebars or your levers turned down slightly, that is going to put more pressure on your hands, leading to pins and needles and aches. You also want to be able to have a nice bend in your elbow when you are on the bike, but most importantly, you want to be able to get aero as well. But there is kind of like a trade-off between being aero and comfort. So you kind of want to find somewhere in the middle where you can get aero if you need to, but you're also comfortable as well, because that is one of the main things. But once you have your handlebars and your levers in the right position, there are a few other things that you can do to help those little aches and pains go away. Next up, you want to have a nice, light, relaxed grip on your handlebars, but at the same time, you don't want to be so relaxed that if you hit a bump, your hands are just going to come off the bike. But the problem is when you tense up and grip your handlebars really hard like the Hulk, it's going to lead to a lot of fatigue. Your arms are going to get really tired, but also all the vibrations are just going to go straight up your arms, and it is going to be really fatiguing. It's kind of like the middle ground. You want a nice light grip on the bars. Just relax your arms, a little bend in the elbow. And, you know, if you do hit a bump, you're not going to come flying off. But it's just nice and comfortable. But I tend to feel like the more time you spend riding, the more relaxed you end up feeling on the bike, meaning you can have a little bit of a lighter grip. Now this next one I feel like is quite an important one, and one I kind of find myself doing without even thinking about, especially when you're riding in a group with other people, you're descending, or you're in a busy built up area where there's lots of cars and you never know what's going to pull out on you, is to have at least 2 fingers over your brake levers. That way, if you need to brake suddenly, you just can. But obviously then when you're out in the middle of the nowhere and there's no risks, you can kind of hold your handlebars wherever you want. Now you might see riders holding their hoods like this from time to time. While it might be comfortable and aero for some time, it's probably not the best idea. You haven't got good grip on the handlebars, especially if you're on uneven road surface, your hand can easily slip off, and you don't really have access to any brakes. But your hoods, on the other hand, are a great place to hold your hands when you're riding long distances. You can still get aero in them, and you've got good access to your brakes. But if you've maybe got a new bike or you're not too sure on the position on your hoods, a lot of pros will take their bike out for a spin without handlebar tape, Allen keys in their back pocket, ride for 10-15 minutes, get a feel of how they want them, adjust them on the go, and then once you're happy with them, you've done a ride, you know, and then set in the right position, you can then put the handlebar tape on. Some riders tend to have them a little bit more upright and a little bit pointed in, just to be that little more aero, but it is again personal preference, and have them where you feel you want them. I like mine pretty much dead neutral, very flat, nice and easy. Definitely mix up your position on your hands when you can. You can use the tops here for when you're climbing mountains or it's a little bit more relaxed. You can use your hoods when you're on a fast bit of road, and your drops maybe when you're on a descent or you really want to go quick, maybe if you're going for a cheeky sprint as well. But by mixing up all these different hand positions, it's going to help you fatigue a lot less than just being in one position for hours on end on your bike ride. You're going to end up using different muscles, and it is good just to be able to hold your bars wherever you want. Give yourself lots of options. You also want to make sure those hoods are on nice and tight as well, because especially when you're climbing, you're going to be out the saddle, and these hoods are actually quite good for leverage. A nice little tool to use. It can help you kick up over those steep climbs, and you can throw your bike backwards and forwards and help you get just that little bit extra power out. And especially if you think you didn't have the hoods and you were doing it on your tops, it just doesn't really have the same effect, does it? It feels very unnatural, this. So hopefully those tips are going to help you get out on your bike, be more comfortable, and hopefully a few tips to help you utilise your handlebars in a better way. But let me know down in that comment section below if I missed any tips or any tips and tricks that you have to making your handlebars a little bit more comfortable and being less fatigued in your upper body. But as always, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and let me know if you enjoyed. The duck's still there? Oh, wish I was a duck. Just napping in the sun all day.